I'm going to share my screen with you. And I believe that for the benefits of those who don't know me, my name is Fumi Oni. I am a life coach. I am a therapeutic counselor, and I also am a relationship counselor. And I'll tell you a bit about my journey as we proceed and what makes this really dear to my heart and why I have decided to do this webinars. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen with you now. Okay, so relationship series. This is before I say I do. Now, if you haven't said I do, fantastic. If you have said I do and you're in a relationship, you are still in a good place. And if you have been married as well for so many years, this, I'm sure you will learn something from the tips. Okay, so I'm going to just admit a couple more people. You know, so wherever you may be in relationship, this is the best place for you to be. You will learn something, trust me. Okay. So if you are stepping into relationships and you're unsure of what values that you have, if you're unsure of if it's the right place for you to be, if you're unsure what kind of expectations you should have about relationship, then this webinar is for you. It's going to help you to define your relationship. It's going to help you to have a realistic expectation. So, and at the end of today, you would know whether your relationship is healthy or not. And you have a bit more clarity as well as to what your relationship, so you understand what your values are, your identity as a person, and you would also understand how you can manage your expectations. And one of the other things I'm hoping to share with you in this webinar is how to identify signs of unhealthy relationship. So I think it's also good to know what a healthy relationship looks like, right? So we know what a healthy relationship looks like, and you'll also be able to identify what an unhealthy relationship should look like. So these are the main aims of us coming together this evening. And as I said earlier, if you have any questions, pop it in the chat box. If you have any contributions, which I would love to hear from you as well, please pop it in the chat. And also make sure that your mics are always on mute throughout the sessions. Now let's dig in. Let's dig in a little bit. Let's look at what a healthy relationship looks like. Okay, all relationships must be supportive in nature. All relationship party, you must be able to benefit from your relationship. That's important. You must be in a relationship where you are benefiting from it. It's a give and take. You keep giving, you know, and you're taking. It must enable you to grow. So if you're in a relationship and you're not growing, then you have questions. You must ask yourself genuine questions. Am I growing in this relationship? Am I developing as a person in this relationship? So we're looking at a romantic relationship that leads to a deeper level of commitment. Okay, so you must have an idea of where you would like your relationship to go. Okay, so if you are online, you can tell me where you are. Are you in a relationship? Are you single, not in a relationship yet? Or are you married? I just like to have an idea of where you are in your relationship, you know. And one of the things that we also need to understand is we constantly evolve as a person. We're constantly changing, you know, our approaches to life changes, our strategies changes. We are growing, and so also does our value as well. So we know that there are different dating sites, for example. Now, historically, boy would meet girl, okay? You go out and you meet somebody, you like the person. But a lot of times in this day and age, it's on apps, right? You go on apps to date. There are different types of apps out there. We have Match.com, Dating.com, Our Time, eHarmony, the list just goes on. So the way through which we meet people are different. And some people, like, well, I'm a traditionalist, right? I believe the guy should come and speak with me. But for some people, it's okay for them to go and meet the guy. So there's just a lot of different ways in which we do things in this day and age. But however, whichever way you meet the person that you are in a relationship or that you intend to be in a relationship with, there are factors that define what your relationship should look like. There are ways through which, things that you need to know. And these are the things that we're going to be looking at. So we're going to be looking at values, your values as a person, your identity as a person, and we're also going to be looking at the different things that makes your relationship healthy. So now I've come up with a list of 5 things that would help you to identify a relationship that is healthy. Now, these 5 things are applicable to every other type of relationship. Okay, now for every single person, I believe you want to be in a relationship where you are recognized, right? Where you are recognized. I have a few comments there. So I have one person who's married, I have someone who's single. So thank you for letting me know. Oops, I've gone a little step ahead. So we have recognition. You want to be praised, you want to, you want whatever it is that you contribute, you want affirmation, which is a basic need that is found in all humans, a need and a desire to be seen, to be recognized, to be heard whenever you do something, whenever you put in an effort into something, you want someone to recognize you. How much more in a relationship where, we consider it to be a bit intimate. You want the person that you care about to recognize you. You want them to affirm you. So that's important. So these are things that you must have in a relationship. The second one that you must have is affection. These are the reasons why we go into relationship. A desire to be liked by others, that tender feeling that you have towards another person. So it's important that, you experience affection in a relationship. So you must have affection in your relationship. That's very, very important. And then the next thing that you need to look for in a relationship, or that is important, is acknowledgement, right? We all want to be acknowledged in a relationship. We all want someone to acknowledge the contributions, what you bring into a relationship. You want to be acknowledged. You want to, whatever it is that you bring to the table, you want it to be valued. Okay? Now, if you don't have these, it might make you question yourself. So these are important things that we need to look for. Then the 4th one is acceptance. Who does not like to be accepted? Knowing that you're accepted the way you are is a really big contributor to your self-esteem. Right? I've done a lot of work around self-esteem, and some of the things that I have found, especially relationship, is how people's self-esteem is diminished, because they don't feel that they are accepted. They feel they have to change in a certain way to fit into another person's profile. Acceptance is key. It needs to be something that is a must. You must have in your relationship. If you're in a relationship where your partner is constantly comparing you with somebody else or trying to change you, it's going to damage you. It's going to damage you. It's going to make you doubt yourself. It's going to make you question your values. It's going to make you unsure about your own sense of judgment. There's just a lot. So acceptance is important. It's a valuable ingredient in relationship. You must feel accepted. And those are the 5 things that I have highlighted for you. Okay. I need you to, if you have any questions while I'm asking, don't hesitate to ask. Healthy relationships, healthy relationship. Now, when the scale of these things that I have mentioned tilted a little bit, when there's no acceptance, when there is no acknowledgement, or when it's one-sided, it breeds a toxic environment for that relationship to grow. Now, what does make a relationship successful? I have another 5 set of things that I want us to have a look at, and it's not, this is not exhaustive to these 5. There are quite a lot of other things that are needed, but I think these are really, really key things that are needed for your relationship to grow. Just admitting a couple of more people into this. Okay. So the first thing I have is communication. Communication. Now, the Office of Statistics in the UK have cited irreconcilable difference as one of the highest reasons why couples divorce. That's one of the major reasons, irreconcilable difference. And how do they come across that? How is it that, you know, couples come together and say, I do, 1 minute, and then the next minute they say they don't? Now, I believe at the beginning when they went to the altar, they actually meant it, right? But the reason, one of the major reasons why a lot of couples come into therapy, I mean, I work with quite a lot of couples, is communication. They are unable to communicate effectively. Now, whether you're in a relationship or not, one of the ways to build or ensure your relationship is healthy is to work on your own personal values and identity, and also to build your communication skills. Learn how to have difficult communications. That's essential. That's highly essential. Having difficult conversations is important as an individual. Right. What I mean by healthy communication? How can you communicate healthily? Now, the major reason why you communicate with someone is to be understood. Yes, you want to be understood. So you're not communicating to create an environment where you will be misunderstood. You want your intentions, your emotions to be fully understood. The possibility of being misunderstood when communication is effective is eliminated. Now, for relationships to be healthy, then partners must be willing to exchange information in a way that your partner understands you, because that's the essence of having healthy communication. You must try to learn how to communicate in ways that, you know, you're understood. You must be willing to have difficult conversations. That's just important. Now, where there is lack of communication, assumptions can make the environment be very, very toxic. Where there's lack of communication, it can become very tough because one, you're making a lot of assumptions about what your partner is thinking, or you're thinking that you said something and they've misunderstood you and they've done something the other way around. So rather than you coming to the table, you're pushing things under the carpet, you're not dealing with things as they come. How you feel about it, maybe they've done something you're not happy with, or you're expecting something and it's not forthcoming. How do you address that? Because there's a way and how in which we communicate these things. So it's a skill. And we'll be teaching you how to do that in further series. The other quick one is respect. Now, you must learn to respect yourself first. If you don't respect yourself, what you're invariably doing is you're inviting somebody else into your space to do what? To disrespect you. And that's very important. If you don't learn how to respect yourself, to value yourself, when you're in a relationship, what would invariably happen is you would not be respected. It's called the law of attraction. You're pushing out some negative energy and you are attracting a negative energy. But when you respect yourself, people are bound to respect you. And that calls across boundaries. You're able to put healthy boundaries in place. Then the third one is support. A healthy relationship must show support. You must be able to support each other. It's not a one-way traffic. You shouldn't be the one supporting your partner. You shouldn't be the one doing, right? It's not the same as accepting responsibility. You are not that person's parent. And this is something that I've seen quite a lot. You're in a relationship, you want it to work so much, you begin to take responsibilities for your partner. You're not your partner's parent. So you're not supposed to be paying fees. You're not supposed to be paying fees. You're not supposed to be stocking up the house with food stuff, sending them all sorts of things. That's not your responsibility. Occasionally, yes, if you have to help out occasionally, then that's fine. But when it becomes a regular thing, what you're actually doing is you're making this person to rely on you, to depend on you. So on the days when you're unable to do it, you will see their true color. Okay, so support, it should be balanced. Then taking responsibility. In a romantic relationship, there must be clear signs that each is taking active responsibility for the growth of that relationship. There must be commitment, and you must be clear of where you're heading. That talks boundaries as well. Clearly defining, where is this relationship taking? Where is this relationship taking to? Am I going to benefit from it? Is he taking responsibility? Or is she taking responsibility, right? If it's a distant relationship, how do you define it? Are you the one who's constantly picking up your phone to make phone calls? Is that what your relationship looks like? Are you the one constantly sending text messages? There needs to be a balance. If that's what's happening in your relationship, bring it up and tell the person, wow, this is how I feel. Now, if you brought it up a couple of times and there's been changes, then you must know, you must ask yourself serious questions. Is this the kind of relationship that I want to be in, where this person is not taking responsibility? And then the last but not the least is trust. Trust is the bedrock of any healthy relationship. Trust is the bedrock of any healthy relationship. But what does that look like in reality? What does trust look like in reality? Are you able to genuinely share your inner thoughts and feelings with this person? Right? So these are factors that you must consider in a healthy relationship. There must be communication, there must be respect, support, taking responsibility, and also trust. So I'm going to ask if there's any questions that you have at this stage. Feel free to pop it in. What makes your relationship successful? Does your relationship, are there any things that we've talked about resonate with you? Do you have things that we've talked about that, you know, you are experiencing in your relationship? So I'm going to quickly look at the, I'm going to quickly have a look at unhealthy relationship. What makes a relationship unsuccessful? What does an unhealthy relationship look like? And of course, as you may have suspected, lack of communication. Making assumptions about what your partner is thinking, making decisions without consulting each other, right? Booking holidays with friends and family without informing you. And I've heard a lot. You know, you're in a relationship, you think everything is lovely, everything is going on well, but they're doing a lot of things without even, consulting. Of course, maybe you're not married, but out of respect, and we've talked about respect, out of respect, it just makes sense when you're in a relationship and your partner says, oh, by the way, I'm thinking of going on a holiday with some of my friends. You know, you don't always have to be involved in those holidays, because if you feel you have to be involved in all these holidays, maybe you are a little bit, you know, insecure about the relationship. But if you're quite secure, you should be okay and happy for him or her to go on holidays without you occasionally. It's a relationship. Then the other thing, the other sign of unhealthy relationship is disrespect. Disrespect. Do you feel you're not respected? How does this show up? Disrespect. How does this person treat you when he or she is with family and friends? You know, do they put you to the side and, you know, talk with every other person, and you just feel you sat there in a corner, uncomfortable, and just waiting for him to or her to pay you some attention? That's disrespectful. Taking decisions without, that can affect the two of you without consulting you, that's disrespectful. Not, you don't even know his family, you don't know his friends, you know, and this is actually quite popular with relationships that started out from online platforms. A lot of people, you meet your partner or you meet a friend online, and before you know it, you've been meeting up 2 months, 5 months, 1 year, 2 years, and you don't have a clue who their family is. You don't know who their friends in, and all they keep telling you is, oh, don't worry, I would, you know, I would organize it. I will organize it. I'll get you to know, I'll get you to know them, you know, and you're wondering what's going on. You need to know that your partner respects you for who you are. And there's a lot of other examples that we can give, which we will share as we go on. Criticism. Be very careful of this elephant that finds its way into relationship. Criticism. It's exception. I mean, it's important. What's criticism? So rather than you or your partner addressing the issue, personally attacking, you've personally been attacked. You're personally attacking their personality, right? So you're using words like always. I'll give you an example. So we haven't been here. Maybe it's my partner's responsibility. This is for married couples. Your partner is the one who normally takes the bin out when the bin, or on the bin day, and he forgot one day to take the bin out. The next week, something else happened. He forgot to take it out. What happens? Instead of you addressing it, of course, maybe it's summer, it's not summer yet, but it's getting warm, the room temperature is changing, so the bin is stinking, it's not being taken out. So you grudgingly take the bin out, you hear the bin man, so you rush out, you take it out the first time, the second week again, you have to bin in. You rush out to take the bin out. And then now you want to address, you want to your partner, and you say something along the line like, you never ever take the bin out. What's wrong with you? The whole house is filthy and smelling. Every time I have to take the bin out, you never ever. What you're doing is you're attacking him. You're not addressing the situation. And don't forget, it's not even a never, it's a couple of incidents that have happened. Now, criticism is deadly, it's dangerous. It undermines your partner. You could say, oh, another case scenario, you're using the word always, you know, why are you always sloppy? Why are you always, you know, you are attacking? And what are you trying to communicate? No, because what your partner would automatically do rather than listen would be he or she would become defensive. And then things get worse. Right? So I can go on a lot about criticism, but This is just for you to understand some of the things that breed unhealthy relationship, or some of the things that you see if you are starting out a relationship and your partner does not communicate well, or disrespects you, or criticize you constantly. Underline the word constantly. These are signs that showing and telling you that this may not be the right relationship for you. They are red flags that you must not sweep under the carpet. You must listen to your inner self and do something about that relationship. The fourth one is manipulation. Manipulation, and this is very, very sneaky. Yeah, stylishly. So every relationship starts out with, oh, I'm attracted to this person, you know, I like this person, I'm constantly being seen, I'm constantly being in the presence, you know, we're doing things together, you know, there's just a lot of loving and all of those things going on. Stylishly, your partner, if he or she is manipulative, they would get you to begin to do things their way, get you to dance to their tune. They don't listen to what you have to say. There's always a reason why they can't do what you want them to do, but there's always a reason why you have to do what they want you to do. That's manipulation. It's easy. It may be easy to avoid conflict at first, but after a while, it builds up. And that foundation, it builds a foundation that erodes trust. You know, you find that someone who is manipulative is also controlling. They get you to do things that does not even sit well with your own values, your own personal values, you know, and because you like this person, you want to do things to please them, but beware. Manipulation is a spirit. Beware of anyone who is always constantly trying to get you to do things that does not sit well with you. Don't make excuses. Don't make excuses. Don't make excuses. Listen to yourself. And the last but not the least is distrust. Now, remember, these are 5 major pointers. It's not exhaustive. There are other things that can cause your relationship to be unsuccessful. That, you know, tells you your relationship is unhealthy. But I just want you to be aware of these 5 ones because they are quite important. Distrust. Do you feel safe enough in your relationship to genuinely open up? Do you feel that if you open up with your partner, you know, all hell won't be let loose? Do you think you can honestly have a conversation? Building relationship is based on veils of power. When you have relationship, maybe previous relationship that's happened and you now, right, okay, you think this is the one, you want to be open and honest in the situation. Do you think when you share things that's happened before, do you think it's going to affect your relationship? Do you think it's going to take you, believe in you, trust in you? You know, so it's important. And there's a lot of other things. You know, someone that is constantly finding ways to check your phone, you know, are they, you know, checking your phone, following you up and down? Initially, it might be fun because you like to do things together. But sometimes you just want your own space, and it's okay in a relationship to, you know, have your own space, right? Are they jealous? And that's another thing. So there's quite a lot of other things that we would look at in relationships, right? So I'm just going to quickly have a look at the comment. Somebody asked the question, how do you point out something they've done wrong without attacking them personally? I'm going to hold on to that question and I shall answer that question shortly. Okay, so thank you very much for that question. How do you point out something they've done wrong without attacking them personally? We're going to do our Q&As very, very shortly. I'm just going to quickly wrap up and then I will come back to you. So I'm just reading that question so you know I've seen it and it shall be looked into. Thank you for that. All right. So here are some tips. Honor boundaries. If you don't know how to set boundaries, we would look into that later on, okay? Don't do anything that would make you uncomfortable. Don't ignore the red flags, as I've explained earlier on. You're not indebted in any way to pursue anything with anyone unless you want to. No ghost, say no to ghosting. Say no to ghosting. What's ghosting? Now, ghosting is when anyone does things to you that makes you begin to doubt yourself, make you feel like you're a fake. You know, that's ghosting. There are a lot of polite ways that you're no longer interested. So don't feel indebted. And if you have any tips about relationships, because I know that there are some relationship experts that have joined this call, you'll be surprised. Please put in some tips on how people can manage their relationships. Share with us, please. Please. Oh, I've got somebody. Okay. That's another question. Okay, I'm going to look at the question for anyone who wants to share some tips and advice that can support healthy relationships. Please share with us. Share with us any tip that you have. Yeah, all right. So while we're thinking, I'm going to quickly, I'm aware of time, and there's an exercise that that every one of us are going to participate in. All right, I'm going to share some exercise that you yourself will do, and you would be able to identify what your values are. So if you stay till the end, you will be able to do that exercise. All right. Now, values. Values. Now, I am so quite keen on values. How do I describe myself? Am I authentic? How would you describe yourself? In 1 or 2 words, I want you to quickly pop in the chat how you would describe yourself in terms of values. How would you describe yourself? Authentic, strong, honest, person of integrity. How would you describe yourself? Thank you. I have kind and bold. I love that. I love that. Kind and bold. How else would you describe yourself? Lovable, joyful, peaceable, supportive. Thank you. Supportive. How else? How? Let's keep it running. Let's keep it rolling. Genuine, honest, relatable, and authentic. Fantastic. Principled. I love that. I love that. Fantastic. Somebody said, what you see is what you get. A plain book. How life is like a book. Fantastic. Thank you so much for that. Now, we're looking at values. Now, what is value? Value is one's judgment of what is important in life. Your judgment of what is important to you. Now, it's not what people say are important, but what you feel, what's important to you, that's what your values are. Now, identity, on the other hand, answers the question, who are you? Who are you? That's your identity. Who are you? Now, sometimes we describe people, oh, he's a carpenter, because we know he builds, or she's a teacher because she teaches. Now, if she loves teaching, then yes, she is a teacher. But sometimes, if you come from where I came from, where being a doctor is the best profession you can have, or being a lawyer, having a reputable, so-called reputable, career occupation, then you might not really be true to your value. Now, I studied economics as my first degree. And the reason why I did economics was because, well, it's a long story, but I'll cut it short. My parents wanted me to go into the medical field. Now, the way I could rebel and tell them that that's not what I wanted was by going to study, going to commercial class, because this is back in Nigeria. So I went into commercial class and I did arts and all the like, and I didn't tell my parents until that window to change clothes. Now that's another story for another day. long run, I went to uni and I did economics. Nothing in me resonated with economics, but because, you know, my daughter is studying economics or my daughter is doing accounting, it sounds good to the ears. But thankfully, thank God for a God of a second chance. I am what I am now, doing what I enjoy doing, counseling. You know, who are you? What resonates with you? Now, how our values are shown differs from setting to setting. For example, the values that you share with your family are different from the values that, you know, you share with friends. You're the same person, but depending on the environment, depending on the situation, values can change. But there are some core values that we all have as individuals. Now, when it comes to relationship, these core values mustn't shift. So you have some core values and then you have some other values that, you know, change, you know, that change from time to time. You have different core values. So you can think while you're listening to me, think of 3 people from different parts of your life and how do you think of each of them? How would you describe the values that you share with them? So I want you to possibly think of your parents, think of your work colleagues, and if you're married with your partner, right? You can see that there could be different types of values that you share with these set of people. We can learn a lot about our own values by the way we react to other people as well. So if you're unsure about what your values are, how do you relate with other people? Think of people that you disapprove of, for example, or people that you dislike, people that you're not sure of. How would you behave differently if you were in their position? So there's just a lot of questions around value. Value is what's important to you as a person, what's important to you. Okay, here's some questions for you. From what you know and from what you've heard, what makes a relationship successful? Open communication, mutual support, respect. If you think one of them is more important than the other, or if you think all 3, please put in the chat box. What do you think makes a relationship more important? Somebody said gifts. Thank you. What makes a relationship successful? Open communication, mutual support, respect, or all 3? Thank you. I've got all 3. There are a lot of us on this call, so let's keep it rolling. Self-love is also important. Yes, 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 yes. Thank you so much for that. And that's one of the things we're going to be looking at in our subsequent events. So please stay tuned. All 3. So I'm getting a lot of all 3s. Thank you. Very important. Open communication, mutual support, respect are all very important in our relationship. Right, I'm going to quickly crack on because time's not. What's my love language? Yay. What's my relationship goal? Quality time and acts of service? Well, that's mine. And what's your relationship goal? Now, for you to have a relationship that works, you must have a goal. Where are we heading in this relationship? Where is your relationship heading? I could talk about the love language, you know, it's quite popular. There are 5 of them: acts of service, quality time, gifts. Please, can somebody tell me the remaining 2? I've got acts of service, quality time, gifts. What are the other 2? Words of affirmation. Fantastic, thank you. And one more, I've got one more to go. One more. Let's get it done. Quality time, act of service, gifts, word of affirmation, and there's one more. All right, for the sake of time, physical touch is the 5th one, right? Physical touch. Now, these things, thank you. Now, these things can be learned in a relationship when you know you're heading somewhere, right? Where the closer you get, you learn about these things as you go along. And some people may not know, but the 5 things I've talked about before are essential. As you start to date, you must be observant. You don't fall in love, you open your eyes in love. Because if you fall, you may not see all these things. You become blind to the things that are essential and important. open your eyes as you go into your relationship. All right. In a partner, I'm looking for someone who is family-oriented, kind, funny, respectful, proud of the work they do. What's yours? What is yours? All 5 are important, but when it comes to value, some things are more important to some people than others. Someone who is family-oriented would want their family to be in the house every holiday, any school holiday. Bring them, bring them, bring them. Your partner may not be that kind of person. I'm speaking to married couples right now. If you are not married, understand what's important to the person that you are dating. Understand what's important. Something that, are they funny? Do they make jokes? Sometimes they may make jokes that might not make you in the right place. How do you deal with such situations? Some people are just career-oriented. Is that important to what you, as a person? You know, these are things that I think we should think about as we go along. Right, I've got an exercise for you to do. Now, you're going to have access to a PDF file, and I would like you to click on the link to access the value exercise file. If you're having any problems opening that file, just, let me know in the chat box. So let's get that done quickly. It shouldn't take us more than 3-4 minutes to do as we begin to wrap up on this webinar. So you have the webinar, it's been put in the chat box for you. I want you to click on it. Now, when you open that file, what would happen is you have a list of different values. You have a long list of different values. I want you to choose the top 10 that resonates with your relationship. Or if you're not in a relationship, your intended relationship, what you want your relationship to look like. Okay, I want you to click on it, and then, oh, somebody said it seems not to be working. Anybody having any challenge with that? It says something's wrong. Okay. Oh, quite a few people's getting error message. Right. We're going to see if we can. Right. Has anybody been able to? Okay. Okay. So it's working now. Please re-click on it. Thank you. So someone said it's working now. If you're having any problem, let's know. Let's click on it. Click on the worksheet and choose your top 10 values that you would like to see in your relationship. Okay. So you got a couple of minutes to do that. If you're having any more challenge, please let me know. Okay, so you want to choose, remember what values are. These are things that are important to you as a person. What's important to you. Okay, now some people might struggle with what's important to them based on various reasons, right? Because sometimes we have what we call introjected values. Now, introjected values are the values that we've received from people who have taken important roles in our lives, like our parents, like our teachers, anyone that you think is important to you. They've kind of, in a way, taught you things that does not really resonate with you as a person. Okay, so those values are they're not your core values, but how you would then shift from how you would relearn and retrain your brain Now, for you to be able to do that, if you are listening to this webinar, you feel you're not congruent with your values, you're unsure, then do, send me a private message if you feel you would like to work on that. That's something that you like to work on, to understand what your core values are. And we can take it up from there, because that's something that we can begin to together. So if you have completed the task, let me know. So you want to choose your top 10 values for your relationship, and then out of those 10, just pick one that speaks to you. Now, don't spend too much time looking at all the different types of values that are on board, because you're like, oh, that's important. Now, choose the ones that jump out at you first. Okay? Don't overthink, don't overanalyze. Just pick the first 10 that jumps out at you, write them down in the editable section. And then when you've done your 10, I want you to choose one, the top one value that you would like to see in your relationship. So that's like a must. Yeah, that's like a road sign that whoever is that you're in a relationship, you must share this value. They must respect, they must understand that this value, it's unquestionable, you can't move it. You're not going to compromise. If you compromise on anything else, this one thing you're not going to compromise on. Has anybody finished their task? We've got just 1 more minute on the clock to finish the task, and then we can move on to the next thing. We are going to be finishing not later than 7:30, so it's not more than an hour. Let me know if you finished the exercise in the chat box. If you're still with me, if you're still thinking. And if you found yours, would you like to share with us what your top value is? Thank you so much. I have knowledge. Thank you. So that is your top. So does that mean possibly that in your relationship, the person that you're going into a relationship with must be knowledgeable or must respect you for seeking knowledge? Because that's another thing. I've worked with a couple where, because they just want to, I think it was a lady, she was pursuing her PhD and something like that, he wasn't happy. But there are different things. Some people feel inferior, feel intimidated when their partner is advancing in one particular field or the other. Okay, thank you. Must be knowledgeable and always be looking to improve themselves. That's important. That's one of the first things that we talked about at the beginning of the webinar. Development. You must be able to find ways of developing each other. You must be. I wasn't like this when I got married, and I'm grateful that the kind of husband that I have is someone who is actively seeking ways where I can improve myself, doing what I enjoy doing what I love doing, and how can I, become better. And that's important in your relationship. You must be able to see growth over a period of time. Now I have spirituality. Thank you so much for sharing that. Spirituality is key, it's important, and that's an important thing. So for you, it's spirituality. I'm a Christian and my faith is important to me. In fact, for me, that's number one. We must share that value, because when I continue my relationship, we got married, we have children. I want to be able to share this same value with my children. So if spirituality is my value and my partner, husband's value is different, then we kind of talking at each other, right? That's affecting the bond of unity in that family. So it's important to, what's the core thing? Understanding. Thank you for sharing. Understanding is important for you. Okay, so it's important that you know what's key for you so that you are able to build your relationship on a solid foundation and you're moving in the same direction. So you would have other values, which, yeah, you can have a little bit of compromise here and there, but the main one, you know, thank you so much. Thank you, I appreciate that. Thank you for being here. You know, it's important. Right, so I'm going to finish off now. So we're going to have a next webinar, and the next webinar is on codependency in relationships. Why do people stay in an abusive relationship? Because that's a question that I hear over and over and over again. What makes them stay? Now, if you feel you want to join us and listen to this, and I'm going to be bringing someone who is so vast in this area to be sharing with us as well. You wouldn't want to miss it, not just for yourself, but because information is so important in this day and age. What information can do is so important. So I want you to join me at the next event. You'll find the registration link in my bio, the same link that you have. And if you had registered for this particular webinar, we will send links out to you as well. So if your relationship is worth saving, do something about it. If you're about to go into, or you're still not yet in one, it's important to just keep, you know, listening, keep educating yourself, you know, keep getting yourself prepared, because opportunity, when it means preparation, the result is history, right? So if you would like to have a free 30-minute session with me after today, please click on that link today to book half an hour session with me. It's absolutely free, no obligation whatsoever. Whatever it is that you want me to work with, I'm going to be able to, hopefully within that short period of time, you know, start a good relationship with you. So I'm inviting you to go ahead and use the link that is in the chat box to book yourself in. A big thank you, everyone, for joining me this evening for this session. I mean, it wouldn't have happened if you weren't here, and thank you for being such beautiful, engaging participants as well. So I'm thrilled and I'm honored. Thank you so much. I hope that you have, you know, you're taking something away from today's session. And I am honestly grateful to you all for coming this evening. There are other topics that we'll be looking at as we go along in the series. So next one is codependency. You know, there's just a lot of other stuff. And if there's some topic that you want me to share with you, you know, of course, let me know. Pop it in the chat. Let me know what it is that you're thinking, right, I would like to learn a little bit more about this aspect of relationship, personal development, growth. Pop it in the chat, and we would look forward to delivering those webinars to you. So thank you so much. Oh, I had questions actually. Thank you. Thank you. Somebody asked me a question earlier. Ooh. Thank you so much for reminding me. She said, how do you point out something they've done wrong without attacking them personally? Quickly, I'm going to teach you this technique. I call it the sandwich process. The sandwich process. So you want to raise something with your partner, and, you know, in a way that is not offensive. You know how sandwiches, you have 2 pieces of bread and then you have a filler, right? Now, you start with praise. Whatever you think that they have done really well, that you're happy they've done well, tell them, and then snip in whatever it is that you adjustment or change that you want them to that you want to bring to their attention, and then end it with praise. So that's a simple tip that I think can help with having difficult conversations. Start with something good. Look for something good. No matter how bad somebody is, there's always something, no matter how tiny, that is good that they do. So start with praise and end with praise. Put in whatever it is that you want to resolve, whatever the issue is, in the middle, and end it with praise. But if you want me to speak with you more about that, please, I shall definitely be happy to speak with you about it. And then there's the second question quickly that was asked was recognition and acknowledgement. What's the difference in the context of relationship? So somebody, if you recognize that someone is doing something and you acknowledge it. So recognition can come between, them just discovering something about you that is good. They can recognize maybe a skill set that you have that you may not necessarily think is such good, so good. Recognizing, oh, you are really good at, okay, this is me talking. You're really good at talking, right? You have a natural, way of dealing with people. I feel that when you have webinars like this, you'll be able to reach more people than the one-to-one counseling that you do. So that's recognizing that I have the skill set and helping me, encouraging me to be better, acknowledging you've done something. It's just praising. Don't withhold it. Don't say, oh, they know that I appreciate what they are doing. Say it out. We all love to hear. We all love to, it's lovely when somebody says good things about you, right? It's just, there's a way that it makes you want to do more. So that's the difference between the two. Right, I have one more. Right, brilliant. So yes, thank you everyone. Thank you for your thank yous. And till I come your way again, stay blessed and God bless you all. Thank you. Bye for now.